The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador David Kane stepped forward. Representatives from 12 alien species watched with curious eyes as the human delegate placed a small device on the central podium. "Before you vote on this declaration of war against Earth," David said calmly, "I want you to see something." The holographic display showed a peaceful planet, blue oceans, green forests, white clouds. It looked harmless, almost primitive compared to the advanced worlds of the council members. "This is what my homeworld looks like from space," David continued. "Pretty, isn't it? Quiet, peaceful. The kind of planet you might think would be easy to conquer." General Vex of the Titan Empire leaned forward in his chair. His massive frame and scarred armor told stories of 1,000 battles. "Human, your species has violated our trade agreements. You have stolen resources that belong to the Empire. War is the only answer." David nodded slowly. "I understand your anger, General. But before you make this choice, let me tell you about human history." The hologram changed. Now it showed ancient Earth, primitive humans with stone tools, hunting large beasts across frozen landscapes. "We started as nothing special," David said. "Just another species trying to survive on a dangerous world. But we learned something that made us different." The images shifted through time. Humans building cities, creating weapons, fighting endless wars against each other. The alien representatives watched with growing interest. "We learned that survival isn't about being the strongest or the smartest," David explained. "It's about being willing to do whatever it takes to protect what matters to you." Commander Nexus of the Star Federation spoke up. Her blue skin shimmered as she moved. "Are you threatening us, human?" "I'm warning you," David replied, "because I respect you enough to be honest." The hologram showed more recent history. Human armies clashing across continents, cities burning, weapons that could level mountains. The alien representatives began to shift uncomfortably in their seats. "We fought each other for thousands of years," David said. "We learned every possible way to kill, to destroy, to survive. Against impossible odds, we became very, very good at war." The display changed again. Now it showed human colonies among the stars, space stations, fleets of ships, mining operations on distant asteroids. "When we finally reached space, we hoped to leave all that behind," David continued. "We wanted peace. We wanted to trade, to learn, to be part of something bigger than ourselves." Captain Ross of the Crystal Syndicate laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "And now you think you can intimidate the entire Galactic Council? Your species is barely 300 years old in space. We have ruled the stars for millennia." David turned to face the captain directly. "That's exactly my point. You've had peace for so long, you've forgotten what real war looks like." Hologram shifted one final time. It showed Earth's military installations hidden deep underground and scattered across the solar system, weapons platforms that could crack moons, ships designed not for exploration but for one purpose only. "We never forgot," David said quietly. "We hoped we'd never need these skills again, but we kept them sharp just in case." The chamber erupted in angry voices. Several representatives stood up shouting challenges and threats. David waited patiently for them to quiet down. "I'm not here to threaten you," he said when silence returned. "I'm here to give you a choice, a real choice." With all the facts, he walked slowly around the chamber, making eye contact with each representative. "You can declare war on humanity," David said. "You can send your fleets to Earth. You can try to conquer us, punish us, destroy us. That is your right as members of this council." He stopped at the center of the room. "But understand this. We are not the peaceful traders you think we are. We are not the weak newcomers you can easily defeat. We are the children of a world that taught us one lesson above all others." The hologram flickered and went dark. "If you want to survive, you must be willing to do terrible things to those who threaten what you love," David said. "And we love our world, our families, our freedom. We love them enough to do whatever it takes." He picked up his device and looked around the room one last time. So make your choice, honored representatives. Vote for war if you must. But know that when your fleets arrive at Earth, they will find humans waiting for them. And humans, when cornered, when threatened, when fighting for everything they hold dear. David paused at the chamber's exit. Humans don't just fight wars, we end them. The door closed behind him, leaving the Galactic Council in stunned silence. 3 hours after David left the chamber, the Galactic Council reached their decision. General Vex stood at the podium, his voice echoing through the vast hall. The motion passes by a vote of 9-3, he announced. The Galactic Council hereby declares war on the human species and their territories. Captain Ross smiled with satisfaction. Finally, we can put these upstart humans in their place. How long has it been since we had a proper war? My crews are getting soft from all this peacekeeping. Commander Nexus wasn't so sure. Did anyone else find the humans warning? Troubling? He seemed very confident for someone representing such a small faction. Confidence means nothing without power, General Vex replied. Our combined fleets number over 10,000 ships. The humans have maybe 200 vessels scattered across their colonies. This will be over in weeks. Admiral Crix of the Iron Brotherhood nodded his massive head. My ships alone could glass their homeworld. These mammals think they can intimidate us with stories of their primitive past. Laughable. But not everyone shared their enthusiasm. Elder Thane of the Peaceful Worlds had voted against the war. His ancient voice carried wisdom earned over centuries. I have studied many species in my long life, Thane said quietly. The dangerous ones are not always the ones who boast loudest. Sometimes the quiet ones are the ones you should fear most. Speak plainly, old one, Captain Ross demanded. The humans spoke of their history with pride. Thane continued. Not shame. Most species try to hide their violent past when they reach the stars. Humans embrace theirs. That tells me something important. General Vex waved dismissively. It tells me they are still primitive savages at heart. All the more reason to deal with them quickly. When do we attack? Admiral Crix asked. My ships can be ready in 2 weeks, General Vex replied. We'll hit their colonies first, force them to spread their defenses thin, then we'll move on their homeworld. The vote was cast. The die was thrown. Across the galaxy, alien fleets began to mobilize. Weapons were loaded, crews were briefed, and ships set course for human space. But unknown to the Council, their plans were already being watched. On a hidden observation station at the edge of the system, Lieutenant Maya Chen monitored the alien communications. Her translation software worked frantically to decode the multiple languages being transmitted between the various fleets. Command, this is Outpost 7. She spoke into her secure transmitter. The Council voted for war. Multiple fleets are mobilizing. Estimated arrival at our outer colonies in 14 days. The reply came immediately from Admiral Thompson on Earth. Understood, Lieutenant. Continue monitoring and report any changes. Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. Maya's hands trembled slightly as she sent the coded message that would change everything. Across human space, hidden bases began to stir. Weapons platforms that had been disguised as asteroids powered up their systems. Ships that appeared to be simple cargo haulers revealed their true nature as they shed their fake hulls. On Earth itself, the true scale of human preparation became clear. Deep beneath the planet's surface, massive factories had been working for decades, not building exploration ships or trade vessels, but instruments of war. Admiral Thompson stood in the command center, watching as his staff coordinated the response. General Martinez approached with the latest reports. All defense platforms are online, Martinez said. The outer colonies are evacuating non-essential personnel as planned. Our hidden fleets are moving into position. How many ships do we have? Thompson asked. Officially? 237, just like our registration with the Council. States. Thompson smiled grimly. And unofficially? 3,215, all equipped with our latest weapons. The aliens are expecting to fight cargo ships and miners. They're going to find battle cruisers and dreadnoughts. Meanwhile, back at the Galactic Council, final preparations were being made. General Vex reviewed the battle plans one last time. Everything looked perfect on paper. Overwhelming numbers, superior technology, the element of surprise. The humans will surrender after we destroy their first colony, he told his staff. They're traitors, not warriors. They'll choose profit over pointless death. Captain Ross was already planning his victory celebration. I want the human homeworld left intact enough for mining operations. Those blue oceans will make lovely vacation spots for my crew. None of them noticed the small, seemingly harmless probe that had been following their fleet since they left port. It looked like space debris, just another piece of junk floating in the void. But inside that probe, sophisticated sensors recorded every ship, every weapon, every detail of the alien war machine. The data was already on its way to Earth, traveling through quantum communication networks the aliens didn't even know existed. The Council had made their choice. Now they would discover what that choice truly meant. 2 weeks later, General Vex's fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler system. Before them lay the human colony of New Haven, a small world with barely 50,000 inhabitants. Just as intelligence reported, Vex said to his officers, a handful of orbital platforms, some mining stations, and what looks like a few patrol boats. This will be quick. Captain Ross commanded the secondary fleet approaching from the opposite side of the system. I count maybe 12 human ships, he reported over the communications link. They're moving to intercept us, but they're hopelessly outnumbered. Admiral Crix laughed as his massive dreadnought powered up its main weapons. 12 ships against 300? These humans are either very brave or very stupid. Probably both, General Vex replied. All units, prepare to engage. Show them the futility of resistance. But as the alien fleets moved deeper into the system, something unexpected happened. The space around them began to shimmer and distort. What is that? Demanded Captain Ross. His sensor officer was frantically checking his instruments. Sir, I'm reading massive energy signatures appearing all around us. It's like ships are materializing out of nothing. Impossible, Ross snapped. Scan, again. But the readings were correct. What had appeared to be empty space suddenly filled with human vessels. Not the small patrol boats they expected, but massive warships bristling with weapons. The 12 human ships they had detected were joined by dozens more than hundreds. Cloaking fields dropped away to reveal a fleet that rivaled their own in size. On the bridge of the human flagship, Admiral Sarah Mitchell watched the alien reaction with satisfaction. The UES Retribution was the pride of Earth's hidden fleet, a kilometer-long monster designed for one purpose only. All ships, this is Admiral Mitchell. She broadcast on all frequencies. You are in violation of human space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. General Vex recovered from his shock quickly. Human commander, you are outnumbered 3-1. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Outnumbered? Admiral Mitchell smiled. You might want to check your sensors again. More ships decloaked throughout the system. Not just human vessels, but the orbital platforms around New Haven revealed their true nature. What the aliens had dismissed as simple mining stations were actually heavily armed defense platforms, their weapons now tracking the invasion fleet. Captain Ross was starting to feel the first hints of worry. Sir, I'm counting over 800 human ships now. How is this possible? But it was Admiral Crix who noticed the most disturbing detail. General, look at their ship designs. Those aren't exploration vessels or cargo haulers. Those are pure warships. He was right. The human fleet bore no resemblance to the peaceful trading ships they had encountered before. These vessels were sleek, predatory things built for killing. Their hulls were black as space itself, covered in weapon ports and sensor arrays. Where? Did they get military vessels like that? General Vex demanded. Admiral Mitchell's voice came over the communications again. We built them. Every single one. While you were enjoying your centuries of peace, we were preparing for this day. The lead human vessel fired a single shot across the bow of Vex's flagship. The energy beam was unlike anything the aliens had seen before. Not a traditional plasma bolt or particle beam, but something that seemed to tear space itself apart. "That was a warning shot," Admiral Mitchell announced. "The next one won't be. You have 30 seconds to begin your withdrawal." General Vex was torn between rage and confusion. Everything they had planned was falling apart. The humans weren't supposed to have ships like this. They weren't supposed to be ready for war. "This is impossible," he muttered. "Our intelligence said they were peaceful traders." "Your intelligence was what we wanted you to see," came the reply from the human fleet. "We've been watching you for decades, General. We know about your wars of conquest, your subjugation of weaker species. We prepared for the day you would come for us." Captain Ross made the first fatal mistake. Instead of withdrawing, he ordered his ships to attack. "All units open fire. Show these humans what real military power looks like." The alien fleet unleashed everything they had. Thousands of energy beams and missile volleys screamed across space toward the human vessels. But the humans were ready. Their defensive screens absorbed or deflected most of the incoming fire, while their return salvo was devastating in its precision. Within minutes, Captain Ross's flagship was drifting dead in space, its hull cracked open like an egg. A dozen other alien vessels had suffered similar fates. "Impossible," Admiral Crix whispered. "How are they so strong?" Admiral Mitchell's voice carried across the system one final time. "Because we never forgot the most important lesson of our homeworld. Peace is only possible when you are too dangerous to attack." The battle for New Haven had begun, and it was not going as the Galactic Council had planned. The news of the disaster at New Haven spread through the Galactic Council like wildfire. What was supposed to be a quick victory had turned into a humiliating defeat. Of the 300 ships that had attacked the human colony, less than 50 had escaped. General Vex sat in the council chamber, his armor still bearing scorch marks from the battle. His proud expression had been replaced by one of confusion and growing fear. "Explain to me how this happened," Elder Thane demanded. "You assured us this would be a simple conquest."
"They were waiting for us," Vex replied. "The entire system was a trap. They had ships we never detected, weapons we didn't know existed. It was like they knew exactly what we were planning." Captain Ross, his arm in a medical support from his
narrow escape, was even more shaken. "Their technology is beyond anything we've encountered. My shields, which have withstood the firepower of dreadnoughts, were cut through like paper." Commander Nexus pulled up the battle recordings on the main display. The Council watched in silent horror as human weapons tore through their supposedly superior vessels with terrifying efficiency. "Look at their ship movements," she pointed out. "Perfect coordination, no wasted shots, tactical precision that suggests centuries of military experience. These are not the actions of a peaceful trading species." Admiral Crix nodded grimly. "I've been thinking about what the human ambassador said, about how they kept their warrior skills sharp, just in case. I don't think he was bluffing." "But how?" General Vex demanded. "Our intelligence report showed them as explorers and merchants. Where did they hide a military this size?" The answer came from an unexpected source. A junior intelligence officer named Beck had been quietly analyzing human transmissions for years. He stepped forward nervously. "If I may, honored council members," Beck began, "I believe I know how they did it." "Speak," Elder Thane commanded. Beck activated his own holographic display. "I've been studying human communication patterns since they joined the galactic community. On the surface, everything appeared normal. Trade discussions, scientific exchanges, cultural programs. The display showed seemingly innocent transmissions between human colonies, but buried in their civilian communications were coded military orders, supply requests disguised as trade manifests, troop movements hidden in passenger ship schedules, construction reports that claimed to be building farms and factories. The coded messages were highlighted, revealing their true meaning. They weren't building farms," Beck continued. "They were building weapons factories. Those passenger ships were actually troop transports. The mining operations weren't extracting minerals for trade. They were gathering resources for war." The council chamber fell silent as the full scope of human deception became clear. "How long?" Elder Thane asked quietly. Based on the communication patterns, at least 50 years, Beck replied. Maybe longer. They've been preparing for this war since they first made contact with us. General Vex slammed his fist on the table. 50 years of lies. They played us for fools while building a secret military empire. Not fools, came a familiar voice from the chamber entrance. Ambassador David Kane walked in, flanked by 2 human military officers. Students, how dare. You show your face here, Captain Ross shouted. This is an act of war. No, David replied calmly. This is the consequence of your act of war. You declared it. We're simply responding to it. He moved to the center of the chamber, just as he had weeks before. You want to know how we hid our preparations? It's simple. We learned from the best teachers in the galaxy. You. David activated his own holographic display showing various alien species. The Titan Empire. We studied your conquest of the Outer Rim, your use of overwhelming force, your intimidation tactics. We learned to prepare for them. The Crystal Syndicate. We analyzed your raids on trading vessels, your hit-and-run strategies, your use of deception. We developed counters for all of it. The Iron Brotherhood. We examined your subjugation of primitive worlds, your technological superiority complex, your assumption that newer species are automatically weaker. We used that arrogance against you. The displays showed human military doctrine, clearly based on countering each alien species' traditional tactics. For 50 years we watched you. We learned from every war you fought, every species you conquered. We built our entire military strategy around one simple principle: know your enemy better than they know themselves. Elder Thane leaned forward. And what is it you want now, human? David's expression hardened. What I've always wanted. For you to make the smart choice. Withdraw your fleets. End this war before it truly begins. Because what you saw at New Haven was just one system. One small part of what we're capable of. And if we refuse, General Vex demanded. David looked directly at him. Then you'll learn exactly why humans don't just fight wars. We end them. 6 months after the disaster at New Haven, the Galactic Council found itself facing a reality they had never imagined possible. Their mighty fleets, which had ruled the stars for centuries, lay in ruins across dozens of star systems. Elder Thane sat alone in his private chambers, reviewing the reports that painted a picture of complete military collapse. Every major engagement had ended the same way. Initial alien confidence followed by swift, devastating defeat. The Iron Brotherhood's impenetrable fortress worlds had fallen in hours to human siege weapons that turned their own defensive systems against them. The Crystal Syndicate's fast attack squadrons had been hunted down by human ships that seemed to appear from nowhere and disappear just as quickly. Most shocking of all, the Titan Empire's home fleet had been destroyed in what humans called the Battle of Broken Pride. General Vex himself had been captured when his flagship was disabled by weapons that bypassed his shields entirely. A soft chime announced a visitor. Commander Nexus entered, her usual blue shimmer dimmed by exhaustion and defeat. The human ambassador has arrived, she reported. He's requesting a meeting with the full council. Thane nodded wearily. Summon whoever is left. It's time to face the consequences of our choices. An hour later, the council chamber held only 5 representatives. The others were either dead, captured, or had fled to distant parts of the galaxy. The once proud assembly looked small and defeated in the vast. Hall David Kane entered with the same calm demeanor he had shown 6 months ago, but now he was accompanied by Admiral Mitchell and General Hayes, both wearing the black uniforms of Earth's military command. Honored council members, David began, his voice carrying no trace of mockery despite the irony of the title. I believe you requested terms for surrender. Elder Thane spoke for the Broken Alliance. What are your demands, human? David exchanged glances with his military advisors before responding. Complete demilitarization of all council fleets, dissolution of the Galactic Council as a governing body, preparations for the colonies you've subjugated over the centuries. And if we refuse? Commander Nexus asked, though they all knew the answer. Admiral Mitchell stepped forward. Then we finish what you started. Our fleet is currently surrounding Every major council world. We can end this in a day if necessary. The truth was undeniable. In 6 months, humanity had not only defeated the Council's military forces, but had demonstrated a level of strategic thinking and industrial capacity that dwarfed anything the galaxy had seen. But David held up a hand, stopping the Admiral. However, that's not what we want. He activated a holographic display showing a new kind of stellar map, one divided not by empire boundaries, but by zones of cooperation and trade. We didn't build our military to conquer, David explained. We built it to survive. Now that survival is assured, we want to go back to what we actually prefer: exploration, trade, and peaceful coexistence. Then what do you propose? Elder Thane asked. A new system, David replied. No more Galactic Council with the power to declare wars of conquest. Instead, regional federations based on mutual benefit rather than military might. Species helping each other instead of dominating each other. He gestured to the display, which showed human colonies working alongside alien settlements. We've already begun implementing this in the systems we've liberated. Former Iron Brotherhood slave worlds are now self-governing. Crystal Syndicate pirate bases have been converted into legitimate trading posts. Even some of your own people have joined us. General Hayes added. The Titan Empire's military officers who were captured have been offered positions in our exploration fleets. Many have accepted. Turns out soldiers prefer building to destroying when given the choice. Commander Nexus looked confused. You're offering us partnership after everything we've done? We're offering you what we offered from the beginning, David replied. A chance to be part of something better. The only difference is that now you understand the alternative. Elder Thane was quiet for a long moment, processing this unexpected turn. And our military forces? Disbanded, but not destroyed, Admiral Mitchell answered. Your ships will be converted to exploration and research vessels. Your soldiers can choose between civilian life or joining our peacekeeping forces. Peacekeeping? David smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. Someone has to make sure the smaller species don't get any ideas about conquest. Humans have proven we're very good at ending wars quickly. We prefer that reputation to serve as a deterrent. The remaining council members looked at each other, then back at the humans. You could have destroyed us all, Elder Thane said quietly. Yes, David agreed. But destruction was never the goal. The goal was making sure you never threatened us or anyone else again. This achieves that goal while giving everyone a chance at a better future. Elder Thane stood slowly, his ancient frame bearing the weight of defeat and perhaps hope. On behalf of what remains of the Galactic Council, he said formally, we accept your terms. David nodded. Then let's begin building a galaxy worth living in. Outside the chamber windows, human and alien ships worked side by side, beginning the long process of turning weapons of war into tools of peace. The human warning had echoed through the stars, been ignored, and proven true. But in the end, it had led not to destruction, but to the birth of something better. The age of conquest was over. The age of cooperation had begun.